Hi, fam, and welcome to Precisely Nowhere. I want to start today's episode with a huge welcome and thank you for being here with me today. I had about 5 weeks off. I batch recorded some episodes, and it was really nice to get to be present when I was traveling to move my brother to New York. It's February. I still feel like it's the new year, even though we're in the second month. It's giving new year vibes, at least through March. For me, that's my personal opinion. And I want to welcome you into the quiet start vibe. No pressure, no sprinting. That is where we're at and what we'll be talking about today. Gentle intentions and building on a foundation that supports who we're becoming, not who we were pressured to be or are feeling pressured to be. We all deserve to have a full cup, and we can start to fill our cup up by being invested in learning about ourselves and loving ourselves. We went from a slow fall to a soft winter. The quiet and slow start of this year is how I'm showing myself love and taking care of myself. I work hard. I know a lot of us work hard, and we deserve time to rest. So, in the wise words of RuPaul, if you can't love yourself, how in the hell are you going to love somebody else? It rings true, and I think about these words at least every other day, if not daily, because I've been watching a ton of RuPaul's Drag Race, and I admire these words. They are easily overlooked, and I've been there in my life where I wasn't giving as much love to myself as I was to others. And I feel like we're not fully ourselves when we're doing that. It's a great reminder that we all need to give ourselves love in order to spread love. Also, it's the third anniversary of Precisely Nowhere in a few days. So we're celebrating that today. It's wild to think when I first launched the pod, I was still living in New York City, and now I'm in Southern California. So much has changed. And as we go into this new year, and I focus on setting intentions without pressure and embracing being unapologetically me, I welcome you to do the same. I am finding that in embracing my authentic self, I'm able to find more joy in the everyday because I'm staying true to myself and finding little moments of joy has been helping me keep one foot in front of the other and keep going because I know that there are a lot of hard days that we're all faced with, from Mother Nature to politics, and it is scary times, but that is why it's so important for us to find moments of joy in our day to day mundane lives because it is hiding there if you look for it. In that spirit, I wanted to share 3 lessons I learned in my first 3 years as a podcast host. I've decided to keep it short and sweet. Lesson number 1 is create at your own pace and trust the timing of your life. I've mentioned in past episodes that when I launched the pod, I went all out and in hindsight, burnt myself out. I don't live in regret. In staying focused on what I learned, I have a positive takeaway from the experience, even though there were ups and downs. And I think it's important for us to all remember that we are on our own journey and we need to trust the timing of our life. There are a lot of things that we can take initiative in doing, but trusting the timing of our life is so important. And I think the sooner we do that, the more content we can be. At least that's my hot take. Lesson number 2 is be you unapologetically. Let's not hurt people though. We are all unique beings. There is so much power in embracing and loving ourselves. And that is something that I think at a young age I learned and the importance of loving oneself and embracing ourselves for who we are. But I have also learned this as I've gotten older because nobody's perfect and we all have insecurities. I have insecurities. And as we grow and are faced with new challenges, sometimes it can be hard to be your authentic self, or that might be being challenged. And it's important for us to be us unapologetically and be kind. Let's not hurt people and spread hate. That's not here for that, but here for being our unique selves. And it's so important because we all have our own unique voice and story to share. Lesson number 3 is have fun. Look for joy in the mundane, and I'm sure you'll find it. Hold on to it. Maybe make that winter joy list or just a general joy list of things that bring you joy that you can tap into on a more regular basis so that you are filling your cup up intentionally and regularly. Life is filled with serious moments. It's important to allow yourself to let your hair down, be silly, have fun, let your inner child have their live their best life, you know? It's never too late to try to enjoy life and have a little fun. These are some lessons I've learned, and they are lessons that stick with me to this very day and are mantras that I choose to live by because in doing so, I am staying true to my authentic self and becoming a more ideal version of me. And it's very exciting. I am proud of the growth that I have had over the last 3 years. It's hard to know when you first start something what it's going to be like a few years later. And I had dreams for the pod, and I feel like I've already lived a lot of the dreams that I had, and now I'm dreaming new dreams, and it's really fun to do. And I am so stoked for what's to come as we go into another year. And there is a lot of fun content and things in store. So I welcome you to join me on this growth journey and we can grow together. On this note, I decided to start the new year quietly. And what I mean by this is I entered this year differently than past ones. The main difference is that I entered it with more intention and knew that while I had some things planned and a fun new year in store, I also needed time for rest. And that was a non negotiable. The reason why I entered with more intention is because one of my brothers was moving to New York. And so we had been planning this trip. He's starting as an undergraduate freshman. I also went to college in New York City. So it was a full circle moment for me. And I knew that I wanted to be there when he moved there because I know what it's like firsthand to move across country that young. And I think it helps when you have some roots and people that are more familiar with the city that you're going to be living in. So I went with my parents to help move my brother, and I have slight FOMO leaving him there because I know how awesome the city is, and it is my home away from home. But I'm stoked for him to have his own journey. It's going to be amazing. And I can't wait to visit him again. To all of my friends I didn't see when I went, I was with you all in spirit and hope you'll be proud of me for not burning myself out the first 2 weeks of the year. Because that is what would have happened if I would have seen everyone on top of getting to spend some time with my brother and my parents and see a few friends. It was so hard for me to not see everyone, but we have to pick our battles sometimes. And I'm trying this new thing where I don't burn myself out. And we're only 1 month into the year. So, pretty proud of myself to say that I have not done that yet because it's been touch and go some years. And the Virgo in me loves to have things planned out, but I am embracing not always having a plan and letting something start slow and quiet starts are what my winter and new year is looking like. And it has been a vibe. We're focusing on gentle goal setting, embracing growth, avoiding burnout from things that we want to accomplish in this new year. And as much as I'm in soft launch mode, I have been traveling, like I mentioned, and have more travel plans coming up. So I'm finding time for rest. I had a great trip in New York City helping my brother move. I'm going to Mexico to visit my boyfriend's family, leaving the week this episode comes out. I have a good friend's baby shower at the end of February in Arizona. As you can hear, 2026 has started off with a lot of change and life milestones. So I feel like it's kept me present, and at the same time, it feels like it's flying by. Like, I can't believe we're already in mid Feb. I'm like, what is happening? Alas, here we are entering mid Feb. These plans are my reason why I've been stepping into this year with a soft launch, taking baby steps and taking it day by day while intentionally making plans to rest, giving a glimpse into what I have going on in my life to help inspire you to find time to rest and recharge and stay present with what you have going on. I found it helpful to get ahead of things if you can, so that way you can give yourself that time to rest. So for me, I'm recording a batch of episodes in advance so I can keep the content flowing while I'm living my best life in Mexico and planning for Mexico. Most of the time, I will, when I travel, I'm usually off for my 9 to 5. So I try to give myself time off from the pod as well because it's magical then and I can do whatever I want. And I have been baking more, trying to read more this year. So those are some of the things that I'll do when I'm taking a break from the pod and things that bring me joy and fill my cup up. And our quiet activities, like very slow, chill vibes. I'm enjoying this slow but steady pace that life is in right now, and and acknowledging that it is an act of self-preservation and self-respect. There's nothing wrong with taking it slow over here. There's nothing wrong with taking it slow. And I'm excited for some more time off from the pod. Even though I consider it my baby, I know to be my best self and stay inspired as a creator, I need to take breaks. And I think even if you're not a creator, we all need to take breaks. We all need to take breaks and give ourselves that time to recharge. So don't forget to make time for yourself to do that before you burn out so that you can avoid that burnout and continue to stay true to your authentic self. Those are the goals for us this year is to live our unapologetic lives and spread the good vibes while we do that, ideally. Speaking of burnout, I know from lived experiences that sometimes excitement turns into burnout. And it's something I've experienced and try to keep in mind that sometimes we have the best intentions and we want to do something and we get so hyper fixated and focused that we end up burning ourselves out. And while it's a positive thing that we're excited about something, it's not the most positive thing that we're burning ourselves out. And that usually just leaves us to feel like we are not our best selves, in my experience. And we're trying to avoid repeating the cycle. So, wanted to share a personal story in hopes that it'll help you stay grounded. And next time you find yourself super excited about something, avoid turning it into burnout. Okay, we're going to go back in time now, about a little over 3 years ago when I first launched the pod. I was pouring everything into creating and showing up for the pod, but I wasn't checking in with my own capacity. I kept pushing even when my energy was quietly slipping, and I wanted to share a story from my early podcast days. Back then, I was doing weekly episodes. We were also creating social content, and it was all fueled by excitement. And I was in proving mode, proving to myself that I can create this pod, keep up with it. I was living off of the excitement and had all of these ideas that I wanted to bring to life. And I was determined to do weekly episodes. And that ultimately led to burnout, partially fueled by excitement and partially by the pressure I put on myself and my co host to keep up with the weekly cadence. And I ended up putting pressure on myself to keep up with the weekly episodes after I began solo hosting, and I burnt myself out. I was doing too much, and I was so caught up in the doing of it and that I wasn't listening to myself. The moment I realized I was starting to burn out was around fall 2024. I was planning a girls' trip with one of my best friends and also trying to keep up with the pod and other life responsibilities. And I remember feeling stressed and drained because I was spreading myself thin and expecting a lot without allowing myself time for rest and time to recharge. I'll always remember the feeling of overwhelm followed by sudden relief when I chose to give myself a break. Um, I was at first in a predicament of looking at the schedule, trying to batch record things in advance to keep up with the schedule and also plan for this trip and enjoy the planning of it and packing and all of the fun things that come with going on a trip. The Virgo in me loves to plan a great vacation. So I was just feeling stretched thin and I decided to take a 6 week break from October to November 2024 for the first time since I had launched the pod in February 2023. Shortly after I took this break, I ended up taking a 6 month hiatus. In this time, I was able to pause, reset, and refocus and realize that there are seasons in life when priorities shift, and this was one of those. I remembered that it's okay, and that is the beauty of tapping in our creativity and being creative is that we can choose to pause something and put it down, put down those paintbrushes, and then pick them up whenever we want. And I'm so grateful that I took the time to rest, recharge, do other things in life, and come back to it feeling my authentic self. And I hope this validates anyone listening who feels like they're starting this year tired, uncertain, or overwhelmed. We have all been there at some point in our journey of life, I think. And there is a lot more that we can resonate with amongst each other than not. And I wish you all the best if you are trying something new and pushing yourself out of your comfort zone. You can do it. Don't forget to meet yourself where you're at, and gentle intention setting can be just as effective as going full out. And we're going to chat about how to start slowly and sustainably so that you can set yourself up for success if you are looking to embrace this quiet start at any point in the year. As you look to start slowly and sustainably so that this can be something that you can manage all year round, begin with how you want to feel, not what you want to accomplish as you think about these gentle intentions that you're trying to set. Identify one area where your foundation needs reinforcement. That could be time, boundaries, energy, clarity. There are so many different aspects that go into maintaining a sturdy foundation. And it's great to check in with ourselves every now and then. A few more ways on how to start slowly and sustainably. Choose one gentle intention that aligns with your current capacity. This requires you knowing where you're at and meeting yourself where you're at. So keep in mind what your current capacity is and set a gentle intention to help you take that next step forward. Baby steps are progress. All that matters is that you're taking steps forward to reach those intentions. Celebrate micro wins instead of chasing giant leaps. Celebrate those small wins. They are just as important as the big ones. And I think people are sleeping on that. So celebrate the smallest of wins. If it brings you joy and it's a light in your day, it's worth celebrating, not waiting for the big win because sometimes those moments come far and few in between. It's important that we normalize the little wins on top of the big wins. Think about adopting a quiet start ritual. This could be 10 minutes that bring you back to yourself. One of my quiet start rituals is to listen to music and lay down. I love laying on the couch or even listening to music while I'm beginning to clean. It's so therapeutic and it's a way that I can get motivated to do something else. So it's a one of my quiet start rituals. We are all evolving at our own pace, and I know that I've been working on setting boundaries, honoring my pace and the timing of my life, and letting small wins count as real progress. I'm tired of sleeping on the small wins. We've said this before and will continue to say that baby steps count. I can't stress enough how important it is to acknowledge baby steps because sometimes that's all we got for a while is baby steps, and those are still progress. And progress is key. As you go into the rest of this year and winter for those of you in the northern hemisphere, I invite you to expand slowly and ground yourself if you feel like you need it. We don't have to rush into defining our next chapter or conquering our next goal. Let it unfold at a pace that feels in line with our authentic selves and our growth plans. That can feel uncomfortable sometimes because we want to take charge and control. And there is a level of control that we have on all of our lives, but there is also something to putting the energy out there that we want and letting the universe bring opportunities to us for us to either accept or reject. And I'm a huge believer in putting out there what you want and staying open to the universe. I think it's fascinating and a way to help you stay grounded. I encourage everyone to take one tiny step this week that supports your foundation, something gentle, nourishing. So ideally, it fills your cup up and is doable. Meet yourself where you're at. There's no need to stress about certain things. Sometimes we're stressing because we're not meeting ourselves where we're at. And the sooner we do that for ourselves, I think the happier we're all going to be. Here's to quiet starts, soft intentions, and building a life and foundation that actually holds us. I'm right here with you, growing at the speed of real life on our own pace and timing. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. I could geek out for days on the importance of living life with intention and embracing quiet starts to the new year. I am high key passionate about this, and I have really enjoyed this experience so far. So there is so much power in quiet starts and setting intentions without pressure. And I hope you see the benefits of trusting the timing of our own life and allow yourself to embrace this new year at your own pace. Until next time, I love you all. Thank you so much for listening. And if you find it in your heart to review, rate, give me any feedback wherever you're listening, I would be forever grateful. I read those reviews and take them into account for content planning because I am here for the growth ops and the constructive feedback. So thank you again. I love you all.